All right, so yesterday we talked about the United States stance on World War One and what some of the citizens were thinking in the U.S. as the war was raging on in Europe. So, to review that, let's talk about U.S. neutrality. Go there. There. Back. All right, next round. What my uncle was saying about that story with the spy balloon, he was just like totally shocked that it was happening in front of his eyes. Right. Just tell my dad. The balloon went boom. Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that was funny.
That would have missed out. I thought it was just casually fall down.
It's like a balloon and let it go. So we should have what, 4 bell ringers this week for today. Okay. All right, so let's go over this. Let's go over this. All right, so yesterday we talked about. All right, so 3 perspectives here, 3 viewpoints. What was one of them we talked about? What was one of them? Why? Keep it one. Go ahead.
Isolationists.
Isolationists. Yeah, good job. So, what's this viewpoint all about? It says in the
Just
name.
stay out of the war.
Yeah, good job, right? Because we already have these natural means of defenses from Europe, right? Separating us from the conflict, from the hostility. And what is that natural defense? What is it? Connor? The Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, good job. So we are far separated. It's not like we have these borders jam-packed up against, let's say, Germany or France or a lot of these other European countries that are, waging war right now. So it's one of those things where we can stay out of the fight. We don't have to get involved. We're so far separated. All right, good, good. So there's a lot of people in the U.S., big chunk of people, probably more than, probably the majority of it really, of the citizens in the U.S. realizing that, you know what, we should probably just stay out. Also, when you think about military technology, weaponry, are we capable and maybe comparable to Germany? No, not yet, right? So if we do get involved in this war, it could be pretty ugly. All right, good, good. So isolationists. Good. What was another one? Honor. Interventionists. Yeah, good job. What's their ideology about the war?
They believe they should help their European allies and they should fight against the aggressive terrorists.
Yeah, good job, good job. Because as these countries are growing, building up their militaries, expanding through imperialism, like we talked yesterday, the United States, not like they didn't go through this imperialistic state either, but they're expanding out more in the Pacific Ocean, Caribbean Sea, okay, more in the Western Hemisphere. But the world's getting a little smaller, isn't it? Right, as these countries are expanding, building up their militaries, and looking to imperialize other lands around the world, okay, sooner or later their sphere of influence is going to butt, right? Sooner or later they're going to hit. So with that, right, why don't we try to prevent the war from getting to the United States? Do you think we want 400 miles of trenches dug throughout the U.S.? No. Do you think we want to see the impacts of this war and families torn apart like that broken cartoon I showed you yesterday? No. So why not try to get involved before the war gets across the Atlantic over on our soil? So the interventionists, okay, realize that, again, this world's not so large anymore as these countries are militarizing, as they're expanding. So let's try to prevent the war, right, from getting over to the U.S. soil. All right, okay, last one. Last one. Chris, go ahead.
The guys who comes up with
Yeah, good job. What are they known as? What are they known as, Matt?
internationalists.
Internationalists, yeah, good job. So, hey, we were putting up the front saying that we want to see the war come to a peaceful end, right? Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. We want to see this war come to a close. But in all reality, do we? Do we? Parker? No, we're making a lot of money, right? We're making a ton of money. Okay,
Have a
let's
giveaway anyway, and then.
let these European countries just destroy each other over Europe, right? Who's going to ultimately be the only world power, industrial power left? The United States. Again, because we are far separated. So let's let these countries tear each other apart. Let's just focus on us, sell to both sides, okay, create a lot of these weapons and military equipment, and sell it not only to the Allied powers, but to the Central powers. One thing to note, though, is that you think these European countries on both sides, Germany, Great Britain, Allied powers, Central powers, do you think they can trust the United States? No, or viewed as a hypocrite. It's like, how can you just aid both sides? This is ridiculous. We're making a lot of money, right? And again, just let these countries rip each other apart. And eventually, we'll just rise to a world power just because this war just destroyed them all.
Now you're doing something wrong with Britain's calling you.
Okay, so U.S. neutrality, we talked about Woodrow Wilson. Who was Woodrow Wilson again? What's his name? Connor.
He was president.
Yeah, he's president of the United States. Good job. President of the United States during World War I. And he's going to be known for trying to keep the U.S. out of the war as long as possible. We also talked a little bit about immigration leading up to World War I, how this was a tough situation for him. Okay, a lot of it because we have immigrants all around the world. A lot of these immigrants are coming from Europe. So this is literally a melting pot, a cultural, I guess you could say, arena that it could erupt if we choose the wrong side. So again, with Americanization, what does Americanization mean? What does that mean, Chris?
Trying to make people basically be more American.
Yeah, right. So you're trying to strip them from the history, the culture that they came from, these countries that they came from, and try to change your language, just to adopt this American culture. Forget about their long ties with whatever country they're coming from. So yeah, with Americanization, they're trying to strip them from their cultural history, language of their old country. A lot of it, okay, became very severe, right? It became very intense, where especially a lot of these German immigrants were targeted, okay? And a lot of them were killed, lynched, right? Tarred and feathered, because they had connections to Germany, right? Eventually, we'll talk about how we joined the Allied powers. All right, is there any questions here? 3 viewpoints. 3 viewpoints. U.S. neutrality.
Oh, are we part of that?
No. If anybody is, I don't know. You're recording.
Yeah, exactly. Can't be saying,
I'm saying it.
can't be thinking that.
I didn't think it.
Why did Target?
Why did the chicken cross the road?
So I don't know.